All right, today what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this Dines Carlsen, which I've had in my studio for a long time. I just absolutely love Dines Carlsen's work, and I'm just going to take and build it just tonally, and just with charcoal, and also with just in black and white. And I'm going to work it, the drawing, the way in which, you're told sometimes not to do. I'm just going to draw the object in the center, and then I'm just going to work out of it. Now, one of the things I just love about being in my own studio is that it's your place to play with all these ideas and to accept or reject. Try out everything before you just accept it. Be thoughtful, be mindful, and what your thoughts are about it. And I think I've tried paintings. Like if somebody says don't draw the eyelashes first, which I say all the time, I'm also the first one to go try it in my studio to see what is the pros and the cons. Like what do I think about it? So I'm gonna be playful and putting this together. I'm gonna maybe add a little bit of texture in here as well. I'm going to try to build it tonally and moving out of the center here, but also going to smudge a little bit with my finger. But I want to build the forms, and I want to, play around and study the composition at the same time. Think about why Dines put this together in this order. I think it's just beautiful, active in the pursuit of studying really what this whole thing, my opinion, is about. If you have the desire to learn what cross-hatching is, why not try it out in your studio in a small thing rather than having to do a whole big drawing, and then figure out, now I got to figure out cross-hatching. It's like, no, try it out, something like this. And, in a study of somebody else's work may take the edge off of having to get everything perfect. Beautiful thing about Dines' works is that he's a student of his dad. And you see it in his work, that he's just very, very mindful in the way that, like his dad gave an ode to Chardin, and you see it in Dines' work now through an ode to his dad. So you see this kind of lineage or movement of work in which each one of them has an echo. Like the beautiful quote by Newton, I stand on the shoulders of giants, therefore I can see further. But it's not without them that you wouldn't be able to. So, I'm going to just build this up and maybe smudge a little bit. So there's something between a tone, linear, not quite the way that I see it, but maybe there's a hand of me in it at the end. I think it's just going to take, and I don't know, maybe you want to find what it is in the pursuit of the copy. Maybe you don't know. Maybe just, sometimes we're our own worst enemy to kind of get in the way. Add a little bit of tone there. Maybe add a little bit more tone in here. You want to go with the form. Smudge. Get tone in linear. Obviously, this is a very mimetic way of working, to just take and copy somebody's work. I think it's fun. It's rewarding. I think a lot of people like to be mimetic. Nothing wrong with that. A little bit of white chalk the tone was darker, you'd see it a little bit more. Just add a tone as like a wash there. And let's just move this over. So Dines, I think, when his father passed away, you see a lot of these little sketches of Emil's work, and I think Dines did them. It's fascinating because it appears as like Emil had a notebook of his sketches, but his son took and did these quick little black and white sketches of his dad's work, and it adds it's like a catalog of his dad's work. Now that you get that in, you can really define that edge maybe a little bit more. I also sometimes think like maybe in the imperfection of being loose with it, you come to your own conclusion. I think I've brought that up a bunch of times in the kind of master sketch challenge, that maybe you bring something different to it. There's an ellipse. If you can't draw ellipses, then I'd recommend practicing them. Great place to just see what you can and cannot do. Working into the paper a little bit. Bottom side of the ellipse. This comes down to here. Just really taking and defining so much. Even like that defines the form in a beautiful way. I'm going to hatch this way. It doesn't always have to be, hatching in a specific way. Like find out what works for you. Build the tone up there. There's the kind of a mystery area right in there. You can see that that's what he's doing. Soften it, bring it together. Darken that. Darken that as well. The question too of even like what's the local color or local value even, the form. This background as a whole is darker than all of this. Put a tone with that, with the hatching. So we did fun exercises in grad school, which is just about like the abstraction. Like if you left it like that, would you know what the form is? Kind of interesting. Great way to kind of play. How much information do you need? I think it's called the Kniska Phantom Edge. Just like this. You want to get less linear, more kind of tone in there. So one of the things that gets me about his work always is like the amount of space he has on the top. He has just a lot more space than I would have put up there, and that really allows me to, I think, grow. terms of like thought and the way in which I would design. Of course, you can get carried away with texture up here if you want to, but I'm trying just, I mean, this is a big kind of value study here. Building the tone. Take a step back, take a quick peek at it. You know, all about what this sketching kind of way of drawing to me is like just letting go. You know, if there's something I think beautiful in the marks that are down, even something like this, that you can't get if you're only academic. Like, it seems much more natural with like a movement. If I had like charcoal or something, you could, of course, tone the whole thing back. All right, bring this down. Let line define it a little bit. You know, how much information do you need to show that that's a pot? And then this is framed. So frames all this up. Like the sketches of Carlsen, Dines and Email, are fantastic because they're quick like this. Even though I think this one's much bigger. But if you want to, you can kind of even it out a little bit. Like there's a textural element even in just the hand that's going over, building the tone. How much of your hand do you want in it? One of the questions I always ask. I think that it's nice to kind of have the hand of the artist in the drawing. It doesn't mean everyone has to. Of course, depending on the eraser that you have is maybe how much you can get, but I don't know, maybe you want to leave it. If it feels uncomfortable, it's a sketch, you know. Alright, let's see if we can build this a bit more tonal. Add a little bit more white, build the form. Even this, like marks that are descriptive. That's the highlight right down through there. You break it up to get a little bit more tone of the pencil. Well, I'm sorry, the ground in there. Right there, there's a beautiful little highlight on the edge. I mean, to me, that's be a nice place to just stop it, but there's a textural component that relates. I'm just going to rub it in to soften the whole background. There's a textural element, and just using my fingers, it's a way to kind of smudge the whole thing and soften it. Like a beautiful textural element in the background. Again, that's only we get with building tone. This. I feel like if you look at old master drawings, you see a lot of just marks as an expression. Sometimes the work would get, I think, stiffer as it would work towards a bigger final, but there's more of the mark or the hand of the artist in the sketching and stuff. And then it gets lost as the work becomes bigger. Not that that's any kind of a judgment. Of course, you could stump this if you want to. Anyway, I think that's a good place. Again, I did it quickly. Sometimes we're our own worst enemies, so take this and then put it to the side and don't look at it for like a week, and then come back and then judge it and take the reference away. Look at it as its own beautiful little thing, you know. I think you may find that you'll like it more if it's not always relating, and it could be its own piece of art. You know, a lot of these master study are for us. They're a study and a extraction. Maybe they're just the motivation to do something or try something. Maybe they're the catalyst in that sense of you know, to begin to think differently about something, and we just need the springboard in there. So let them be what you want them to be. Of course, you could just faithfully copy if you want to. But anyway, quick little sketch. Let me just add a bit more tone in here. Separate that from the background. All right, I think that's good.